Hello, my crafty friends. Let's start crafting. You will need some clay pots, some paint of color of your choice, some buttons and some string or some wire, some glue. I'm using E6000 and my glue gun, some paint brushes, some eyes that I printed off of my computer, and a pencil. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to coat our clay pots. I'm using this nice, pretty light blue, and I mix in another color just to give it a different color blue. The blue that I was having was a little too light, and I wanted it more like a denim blue almost. So I add in some dark blue just to change up the color a bit. Now I realized before I painted, I needed to draw on my clay pot boys overalls. So what I'm doing here with my pencil is I'm just drawing in the shoulder parts of the overalls. I'm measuring to the back to make sure I get the back part of the shoulder parts similar to the front part. And I'm just drawing around just to make it look like a set of overalls on this clay pot boy. If you're new to this channel, welcome! I hope you enjoy this video and I hope that you join our YouTube family. I do all sorts of crafts on here, lots with clay pots. I do wood crafts and trash to treasure. So if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button and the notification bell so you can see all my videos. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to paint the parts in that would be his shirt. I think that's what I'm doing. No, I'm painting his shirt. Yay! So what I'm doing is I'm painting his shirt. I wanted his shirt to be blue, and then I make his overalls like a really light gray color. I apologize, I did this craft a little whiles ago, so it's hard to remember what I did first. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the top parts of these two clay pots, which would be his pants and his arms. I'm only doing the top part, and then the band around, I'm going to do it in gray. You don't have to have your clay pot already pre-painted white. I just had a whole bunch already that I've pre-painted white, and I'm using them all up. Now that they're all painted in the blue, we're going to paint in the gray. The gray is a chalk paint. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to paint in all of the overalls and the bands around of the arms and the legs. Now, as you can see, I'm using a smaller brush, and I'm just going to go lightly around the edges of his legs and his arms, putting on that gray. Now that everything is all painted and dried, I'm going to be using floral wire and these buttons. You'll need a total of 6 buttons, I believe. So I measure out some floral wire. Where did I go? There I am. So I measured out some floral wire. Then I snip it at the end using one of the buttons. Oh, sorry, I measure out another floral wire for the other leg. Then using the buttons, I thread one end into a hole and the other end into a hole as well. So it kind of loops onto the button, as you see what I'm doing there. So it holds the button on. Then what I do is I thread that wire up through that hole, and that button there at the bottom will stop it from going through. Give it a little twist to help it stay put, and then that wire gets threaded through the body of the clay pot boy with another button on top, threading it through the holes as well. For that button, you don't have to thread it into separate holes. You can stick them both in the same hole. And that's one of his legs. Then I do the same thing for the second leg. And then as you see there, I threaded the floral wire back down through, and then I stick it aside for now until I get the other leg on. I'll show you again. The 2 strings into the button, and it's hanging there. I thread it through the leg hole, up through the other hole and into that button, through the holes on that other button. Bring it through, make sure my legs are the same height or close to it. Then I take those wires and I thread it back down into another hole. Pull it through. Then I give it a little twist and a tie so it kind of bunches at the bottom. I clip off those extras, and then I also add in a little bit of glue gun glue in there to hold it down. So it's not constantly moving around, it's staying put. And there I am clipping off the extra pieces. Making sure it's nice and secure, adding a little more glue. Next, before sticking on the arms, we're going to draw on his face. So I decided to use that face. And what I'm doing is the old school trick. You use the side of your pencil and you color really lots on the back. Stick your picture on the pot, or in this case it's a pot, but if you had a board or whatever, and then you trace over it. And then your drawing will be traced onto the pot. And then that way you can color it in, or what I'm going to use, I believe, is a marker. And you just trace over your drawing that you've traced onto the pot, and you've got your face. See, there it is there. You can slightly see it. Using a fine tip marker, it's a Sharpie, I'm going to just draw in his face now, following those lines that I had put on there. Now that his face is drawn on, we're going to put on his arms. And basically the same way we put on his legs, I'm going to thread the button with the wire in 2 different holes. And then I'm going to thread that wire through the hole of the pot, and then up through the hole of the head. And again, I add a little button there. Your buttons just have to be big enough so it doesn't slip through the holes on the pot. Twist it a bit to secure it there. And make sure I have enough hanging so it hangs out the side of his head for an arm. I do the exact same thing for his other arm. Adding some glue for some more support. Clipping off the extra. Now I'm going to add some little buttons for on his overalls. I found these in my stash. They're cute little square buttons. I'm going to use E6000 and hot glue. A little hot glue in the middle there. And place it on his strap. I do the same thing for the other one. And now I'm going to add in a pocket, just some little details. Cute little pocket on the front. I'm just using my Sharpie marker. You don't have to do this. You could leave it exactly the way it was. And then I also add in some stitch marks around the top of the overalls, just to give it that little extra bit of detail. And again, you don't have to do this. It's purely preference. Now that everything is ready to be put together, we line it up, make sure everything is going to go good. I use E6000 and my glue gun. I put E6000 down and then glue gun in spots where the E6000 isn't. That way I have an automatic hold, and then the E6000 will give you a long time hold. You don't have to use E6000. You can use any type of glue that will hold longer than a glue gun glue. Holding it in place until he sets. Now we're going to add in some flowers. I take some floral foam. Normally, you can glue it down or you don't have to. I decided to glue this one down, but normally I wouldn't because I usually use these outside and put real flowers in it. But for this one, I decided to keep it in the house. Stick in my 2 lilies there and some of these cute little white daisies, daisy flower-like flowers. And then I fill it in with some of those decorative rocks around just to hide the green floral that's on the inside, just to give it a little more weight as well. And there you have it. Clay pot boy. I think he's cute. Good for the summer. Nice out in with all your flowers. And there he is set up in my house. Looking all nice and cute sitting there. Smiling away. Saying, look at my hair. I have funky hair. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was a little tongue-tied today, but that's because it's Saturday for when I'm doing this. I hope you liked watching. Please subscribe, hit that bell,